right, we got a quorum. Good to see everyone, and it's a pleasure to call this meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Natchez to order. I'm going to ask everyone to please stand and let us share in a word of prayer to be followed by the pledge. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. We thank you, Father, that spring comes in such a welcome way here in Natchez. We have been looking forward to it, and we just thank you for this beautiful city that we are blessed to call home. Father, we ask your continued favor upon our city. We thank you for so many good things that are happening. And Father, we thank you for this board. We thank you for every member of this board, and we ask that you would be with us and guide our discussions today and also guide our decisions. May everything we do today be pleasing to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let us now recite together our pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll have the clerk, ask the clerk to administer the roll call.
Alderwoman Hall.
Here.
Alderman Frazier.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderwoman Irving.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all are present and accounted for.
Thank you so much. We have this morning a request to take one matter up that we need to take care of right now because Mr. Chandler Russ is here to address the board. And he has a very important industry prospect in Natchez, and he's got to get back to his meeting with them. It was my understanding Mr. Russ was supposed to be on the agenda, and I'm looking here. It is under the city clerk's report, and that would be the approval of resolution granting exemption. Okay. I would like to ask, since Mr. Russ is not actually named by name on the report, I'd like to ask the board for a motion to allow Mr. Russ to address the board.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion. We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Yeah.
Mr. Russ, good to see you.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. We appreciate it. It's great news today to be with you. And Megan has all of the documentation over there. So Megan, you want me to speak?
Yeah, I'm just going to let you take it. We did receive an application for tax abatement for loss prevention services and Franklin Street Properties LLC. And all of that documentation is available in the clerk's office. But what they're requesting is approval by the board, and I have included that resolution granting the exemption in your packets. So turn it over to Mr. Russ.
Yeah. So it's a great day to be here. As you're well aware of the huge and important impact loss prevention services has made on our downtown area. They have met and exceeded all of their capital investment goals as well as their job goals. Their job goals were hefty, which was part of the deal that we cut with them years ago, which was 200 jobs. They're well above 200, and currently working with loss prevention on future expansions, and as they continue to make significant investments in Natchez and our downtown area. So we're pleased to be in front of the board today and present this application for ad valorem tax exemption for loss prevention services, Franklin Street Properties LLC. The estimated payroll for loss prevention services is a little under $7 million at $6,878,000. The true value of the property to be exempted is $4,300,000. $366,615. And we would request that this application for tax exemption be approved by the board. We can answer whatever questions that the board may have at this time. We do have the CFO, Paul's with us today just for any additional questions or concerns that the board may have.
Motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall.
Question.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderwoman Irving. We will now entertain discussion. Alderman Frazier, you're recognized.
Yes, I'm looking at this resolution for tax exemption, and I'm looking at for a period. Who set this period for a period of 10 years?
The state of Mississippi allows the 10-year exemption, and they're qualified under the call center data center program, which is the 200 jobs threshold, and so they allowed the 10-year exemption under state law.
That's the highest, but what is the lowest? It's 5 years. What about a 5-year period?
So in my recollection of being in the state, we've only granted 10-year exemptions. So that's what they're allowed, and that's what they typically.
This statewide?
Oh, yeah, that's statewide.
No further question.
All right, thank you. I want to ask, I understand the county has already granted the exemption asked of by the county.
The county has approved the exemption, and it has been approved through the county.
All right, thank you. It's also my understanding that they are in a phase 2 expansion now.
They are. So they have continued to expand the facility there, and they are growing in leaps and bounds, and so we're dedicated to continuing to see them grow and expand. As this board and the mayor's aware, I think our biggest obstacle for them in the continue their growth is in parking. Trying to figure out how we're going to put more spaces and more ability. I applaud the board and its efforts of recently to that where you did a parking study for the downtown area. It's I can't tell you how important that is for the continued growth of LPS. So hopefully we'll get some good data and feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. We are very proud of this company. The first major jobs announcement of our administration in the late summer of 2020. First actual large jobs announcement for the state of Mississippi during COVID.
Right.
And they now have exceeded the initial 200 jobs. And I think they are forecasting that they'll hit close to 300 new jobs sometime within the next year.
Yeah, our new project that we're working with them is them guaranteeing somewhere around 50 jobs, additional 50 jobs. And they're currently at about, I think it was like 220 is the last count. So yeah, they'll be right there at the 300 threshold.
Right. That's great news. I'll call for the question. Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. Yes.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
Madam
just wanted to
Clerk.
let y'all will see something else coming before the board on this. I just wanted to point out, it's kind of a two-step on the resolution. This is all going to be sent to the Department of Revenue, and once we get that approval back, then I will be coming back before the board requesting a final resolution of exemption.
Okay.
So I just, wanted to put that out there, so no confusion when that comes back before the board.
Thank you. I want to say also, this tax abatement is a very small price for the city to pay, considering that we now have a $7 million payroll at a building that just 4 years ago was vacant. And we have all these people spending money in Natchez and contributing to our economy. And it's a really great day. As you said, it's a great day for Natchez. The question's been called. Alderwoman Hall?
Aye.
Alderman Frazier?
Aye.
Alderwoman Smith?
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving?
Aye.
Alderman Davis?
Aye.
Alderman Maroney?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And Mr. Russ, I know you're working on several others, and we appreciate all that you're doing. It's so frustrating that we can't say publicly yet, but we know some good announcements are coming down the pike.
They are. Keep your fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank Mr. Burns as well.
Oh, Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns, you want to speak? You can speak.
He can't speak, he's not on the agenda.
Thank you so much. And
He can't
please,
speak, he's not on the agenda.
please tell the owners hello for us. And that's correct, Alderman Frazier. We're going to move on, and we're going to now go back to our items. But before we do approval of minutes, though, I want to welcome our visitors. We have some great visitors in the room who are working on some great things for Natchez. First of all, Mr. Marsalis, I'm looking to see if Mr. There you are, hiding behind the column. Mr. Fred Marsalis, we have you down for 5 minutes for you to address the board about this exciting opportunity coming to our area. And thank you. And we'll let the clerk just pass that on down so that it won't take from your time.
Thank you.
And they'll pass them on down. Mr. Marsalis, good to see you. Thank you for being here, and you are recognized.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Thank you very much for having me today. I am excited to announce in 2003, I've been fortunate to be a business owner in this beautiful city for 7.5 years. Post-pandemic, I still have 34 gym members at 204 Devereaux Drive. And because I'm a product of Vidalia, Louisiana, I am a citizen of Natchez, Mississippi. I have been watered by this community. So it was time to take a step and start watering the youth and watering this community back and to give something back. 2003, I launched MDP Reach, which is a nonprofit 501c3 that concentrates on a couple of main entities to get people active, healthy, get them nutritional coaching and fitness training. And the other part is to work with special needs adolescents to get them out of their normal network and to get them interacting in an actual gym to get fitness training. And to also concentrate on the mental health aspect that we lack in this area. On April 6th through the 7th, we have a schedule of 3 events that will go on starting from 9 to about 12:45 on the bluff. We have 6 professional healthcare providers that'll come. They specialize in health and nutrition. They specialize in strength and conditioning, overall fitness training. They'll have their tent set up where you can consult with them. My gym will be putting on an open exhibition fitness competition. If you go to mdpfitness.org, you'll see the workout for that event. The registration is $35. We have the link that is attached. All proceeds from that will go to transportation to get special needs kids from Key Rehab and other organizations to my gym. And I'm certified to train them and work with them free of charge, of course. Edward Brown with Positive Choices will then concentrate on our junior high and high school kids and do the mental health counseling for 45 minutes. Our key entities that we'll concentrate on is anti-bullying, suicide prevention, and being a good human being. Then one of our main sponsors, Magnolia Bluff Casino, will be the host site for our scholarship gala. And I'm happy to announce some of my investors and my sponsors are here right now. We've already attained our $4,500 goal to reach 9 schools with $500 scholarships. Natchez High School, Cathedral, ACCS, Delta Charter, Monterey, Faraday, Vidalia, CPA, and Jefferson County. Hopefully we can extend to other networks, but after, it's a lofty goal, 3 big events in the course of 2 days. We wanted to make sure to just have attainable and reachable goals. That's why we concentrated on the 9 schools within this area that have contributed to my gym. I have personal relationships with those areas. We'll have a soft cocktail hour where we have local talent that will be singing. We have a DJ. We'll have that from 8 to 12. And then to close out Sunday Fun Day, this is going to highlight our local vendors and our local marketplace. We'll have food vendors, and I'm not charging a vendor fee. They'll cook and have food provided where you can purchase. The other entity is cigars. And I've gotten a lot of questions and a little pushback about the cigar entity. And I can understand that. And I want to make sure to ensure this community, this board, and Mayor Dan Gibson that I have everything taken care of as far as liability, insurance coverage, security. The way that's going to be set up in front of Smoops and Wardos is those food vendors will be lined up where they're available for purchase. We've also partnered with Ryan Porter with Natchez Park Recreation and Dylan Butler We'll have those space jumps for the kids. Those cigars will be close to the sidewalk of the bluff where that wind will take it. We'll have tents set up where they are isolated away from children. I also have a great relationship with the director of Visit Jackson and Ricky Thigpen. We've contracted a mobile cigar unit to come down. They have a beautiful RV that is a lounge atmosphere where the VIPs can go to their lounge and experience something that Natchez hadn't seen before. The reason I wanted to attach the cigar portion is because they're more prone to stay the night, spend at our hotels locally, and they're connoisseurs of different libation, and they'll support the area. The main thing is just try to increase tourism, bring people into the area, try to connect with these kids and give them something they haven't seen before, and just to continue to build some continuity within the city, to put on events that are different, unique, and create unity. We cannot continue in this area under our administration. I think it's done an amazing job, but it's some entities where you go to certain events and people like me, they're not there. And then some events that I'm at, people that maybe look like you, Mayor Dan Gibson, they're not there. It's certain issues that are associated with the state of Mississippi. You know, we're poor, we're still segregated, and things of that sort. Until we get everybody in one building under one roof and we talk about the ideas that we want to do, we'll just continue to repeat history.
Right.
If you open that folder, you have a full synopsis. You have my tax ID number. If you want to donate, the doors of the church are open. I am open for business. I'm proud to say in the first year I've obtained 22 sponsorships. Everything's paid for and ready to roll. I would encourage you guys to, if you send me an email, let me know you're coming. I'll make sure that you're taken care of in the best way possible.
Mr. Marsalis, right on time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are proud to already be an advertiser, which actually our advertisement put us ironically at the top level. So that's a good thing. Alderwoman Irving.
I just want to ask Mr. Marsalis,
Yes, ma'am.
is the address, the email address?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Email address and my phone number is right there. The first sponsor was Mayor Dan Gibson. I had a meeting with him and Tim Morrissey and Edward Brown. And I want to thank you so very much. I don't want to single you out, but since you did bring it up, I wanted to make sure that you got your just due. And we're just excited about the events on hand. I hope to see you all out. If you have any questions, please call, email me. I am open for business and any type of questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, Mr. Marsalis, there are two words that I think describe you. Natchez strong.
Try to be.
Natchez strong. And we and also such a gentleman. And this is a model for the way people should be doing things here to support great things in Natchez. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't take the opportunity lightly. Thank you all for your
And-
support.
Mayor,
And we'll start sharing your posts.
Thank
We
you
will.
so very much.
Yes, Alderwoman.
thank you for including students with disabilities.
Absolutely. You
I'm
know,
an advocate of that, so I appreciate you doing that.
sometimes we fall by the wayside with those type of things. We do one event. I mean, Ronnie Calhoun does an amazing job. I'm glad he's here. You know, not trying to go over my time with the Brightest Stars Ball and things of that sort. If we treat each other the way we treat those kids, those adults, and each other for those 3.5 hours, you know, we wouldn't have to worry about the issues that we have in our city and our country.
That's right.
You're not going to cure everything with one event. You're not going to cure anything with one doctrine. But, you know, if we're showing a consistency and trying,
Absolutely.
we'll get there. So that's what we're
Keyword,
trying to do.
consistency.
And thank you all again
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mr. Marsalis. Thank you. And since you brought up, I want to take the moment while he's here. Yeah, we really appreciate Ronnie Calhoun and his team. Marla and I had the opportunity to be there along with Mayor Buzzcraft and his wife April on the red carpet as over 70 special needs adults from the Miss Lou made their grand, beautiful interest in formal wear and were given star treatment. It was a great event. And it was great to see you there, Mr. Marsalis, as one of the, you were one of the escorts. Aren't we blessed to live in the Miss Lou? Our next one, more good news. And y'all,
Thank you.
thank you so much. And Mr. Greg West, you're doing so much in our community. And when I found out that you were bringing back the Boys and Girls Club, I just couldn't wait to get you here to the board to share information about it. You are also a model for our community. We're going to give you 5 minutes and it starts now.
I'll take one. Before Thanksgiving, one morning I woke up, but before I got out of bed, I got a revelation. I was reminded that I did work at the Boys and Girls Club previously as a unit director 1 year when it was here. And from there, I thought maybe I'm to look into bringing it back. So I contacted a few people that I knew that still worked with the club in other areas, and they had me to call Macomb, the Southwest Club in Macomb, Boys and Girls Club in Macomb, because now you have to partner with the nearest club in order to start a club in your own community. So beginning in 2024, I got a call. I called them, and then I went to Macomb to meet Mr. Pittman, who's the chief professional officer, and get some directions and instructions on what it might take. And the receptionist told me, it's ironic you call here because a parent just came here that moved here, registered her child, and said, we don't have nothing like this in Natchez. So this was ironic. But anyway, and then at the beginning of the year, Mr. Pittman called me and said, well, I'm coming to Natchez. The regional director, Mr. Clyde McGuire, they came to the Grand Hotel to met with Mr. Tipton about bringing a training in August in Natchez, even though we don't have a club in Natchez. And I think they were successful in scheduling it. So now he had to come back and, get the raw, tell us more. So I'm here like you just to hear what he has to say. So I'm asking permission for allow the officer of the Southwest Boys and Girls Club to speak and give us more insight.
All right. And
If
tell us again, we've got to get a motion, actually.
So moved.
Tell me again his name.
Second.
Mr.
Marcus Pittman.
Marcus
He's the
Pittman.
chief professional officer of the Southwest.
All
Boys and
right.
Girls Club in
Do you
Macomb.
think we need a motion? We don't need a motion.
Yes, we need one.
We need a motion. Alderwoman Irving's made a motion. Is there a second?
Anything you do, you have to.
Is there a second? Seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Pittman, come on. We are so glad to see you. And we're going to let you tag team on his remaining 3 minutes.
Good morning, and again, I'd like to thank the mayor and board of aldermen and women for this opportunity. Like you said, my name is Marcus Pittman, and I probably met a lot of you guys because I too serve as a councilman for the town of Summit, Mississippi. And so I've probably seen a lot of you at the MML conference. But anyway, I'm here today for Boys and Girls Club, and I do have some brochures that I had printed off and wanted you to kind of take a look at it because I don't want to be up here long, but as you can look at it, you can see our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. You can go over our creed. Then you can see when we was established, kind of get a little history of it. Back in 1989, they actually opened the club up, and my executive director at that time, Mr. Randy Tate, the late Randy Tate, he passed away. He didn't open the club up until 1990. He took maybe like a year to go to trainings and do all of that to get, up to speed with what's going on with Boys and Girls Club. And he did an excellent job. And we're where we're at today because of his leadership and our board. We have a great board. And as on the back, you can see the board of directors that we have. Great people that really back me in what I'm doing at the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Mississippi. And we're excited. Like Mr. West said, I did come over because I was excited. Usually when, you have people that reach out to you about Boys and Girls Club, you kind of give them the scoop of what it takes to open a club and all of that. And usually you don't hear back from them. But I heard back from Mr. West several times. And like I said, he has really been doing a lot of work here in Natchez trying to get this thing to come to pass. And I really appreciate him for that. But as you can see on the bottom, among some of those, these are some alumni. Damian Gatlin, Chief Deputy, Pike County Sheriff Department. Melvin Jackson, Lieutenant Colonel. Patricia Barr, Whitney McDowell, Dr. Cornelius Bonado. And what all these young guys and young people have in common, they came from a single parent home. And most of them was from the Macomb Housing Authority. And they came to the Boys and Girls Club, and we had a banquet maybe 10 years ago to where we recognized these people, and they kind of came and told what the club meant to them. And I don't think it was a dry in the audience that night, because the kids really shared from their heart what the club meant to them. And so with this, I know the Boys and Girls Club to me, I've seen it change lives, and I know it would be a win-win here in Natchez. And I know that you had one here before, and I knew the executive director from previous. But like I said, we're excited to, join with you guys and, look at whatever we can do to bring this great program and this great organization to Natchez. So at this time, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. And I do have my card in there. If you have any questions or concerns, you want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. Thank you again.
Mr. Pittman, we appreciate your coming all this way to be with us. And I'm sorry that our format for this meeting is a limited time period. But if you were going to still be in Natchez in an hour or so, I'd love to have a bit of a longer visit with you. It's just up to your schedule. But just know that, Mr. West, we're here to help you, to work with you in any possible way. And we've been working at renewing our parks, our facilities for our youth and families. And I think we can definitely be a team in helping you to make this a reality.
Okay. Well, I can't stay too long. We're on spring break this week, so I got probably
Well, I'm
150
here
kids.
and I'm just a phone call away.
Yes.
And
But I can definitely schedule to come and meet, sit down and talk with you. I mean, I can come back over.
here's my card. All right. And thank you. Do we have any questions from the board members?
No, I'd just like to make a comment.
Put my cell number on there. Alderwoman Irving?
I'd just like to make a comment, thanking them both for coming, and also to say that it would be great to have the Boys and Girls Club back in our area. Mr. West, a great vision that God has given you, and we work to help that come to fruition. That's what our youth need. That's what we all need.
It
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Safe travels back
Thank you.
and enjoy spring break. We're having a beautiful weather for it for now. I pray it'll be kind of like my Washington trip. They kept saying rain and kept moving it a day into the future. We now have some city business to take care of. I'm going to recognize the city clerk
Okay,
at
actually,
this time.
can we backtrack to the minutes?
And,
Let's get those.
well, let's just recognize the city clerk and get those minutes out of the way while we're at it.
All right.
Back to you then, Madam
All right.
Clerk.
Thank you. So first, I've got 3 sets of minutes, and we'll go through and do those individually. First set of minutes is the February 8th special called meeting. And on the copy that was provided in your packets, it did say the regular board meeting. That correction was already called and made. So
All right.
So moved.
Alderman Davis has made the motion. Alderwoman Hall, the second. We'll now have discussion. We'll call for the question. Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
okay.
Next item.
Next set of minutes is the regular board meeting held on February 13th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion.
Question.
The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Okay.
Next item.
Next item is the special called meeting held on February 22nd, 2024. And again, those were, the
Yeah.
heading said regular board meeting. That has already been corrected.
All right.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. I do need to make one clarification. When we have a special meeting, it's no longer via Facebook. And we need to make that.
Remove that.
Yeah, we need, on both of those, we need to remove that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a material change. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to
Yes,
comment on what
Alderwoman
you're
Irving.
saying. Then how do we disseminate the information to the public if we're not having a live broadcast of
We're-
what has
we're-
taken place.
We're following the Open Meetings, Open Records Act for the state of Mississippi.
And what's that?
And it is that when we have a special called meeting, that we deliver notice of that meeting within 3 hours, and we do it according to state law. I will now call for the question.
Call.
The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so the next item would be the request for proposals for the solid waste collection, recycling, and disposal services. So we did receive proposals in the city clerk's office until 2 p.m. Last Thursday, March 7th, 2024. And we received from the following companies: Aero Disposal of Abbeville, Louisiana, Hometown Waste of Natchez, Mississippi, Waste Management, corporate office out of Houston, Texas, and Waste Pro with, they provided their Natchez, Mississippi location. And staff, in an effort to not interfere with the city's opportunity to negotiate, staff recommends that the proposals are taken under advisement for further
So
review.
moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes. So
Yes,
we're taking it
Alderwoman
under
Irving.
advisement. So, and I'm just asking a question based on what we've already said, presidents, the way we've done this. So we will be called to a meeting so that we can look at all of this information together.
That's
Yes.
correct. And actually, on everyone's desk this morning, I did put out some spreadsheets for each of you. One of them is the checklist that as we go through these, all of the requirements, acknowledgement of the addendums, and second and third page being the scoring sheets that staff put together. There will be actually a third spreadsheet too, once I am able to retract the unit prices for tonnage and households and whatnot. Those can be keyed in to kind of have all of that already broken down for review as well.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The
Ms.
ayes
Smith, I
have
did
it.
have a comment. Do we have an idea?
I'm
of-
sorry, we've already had the vote,
Okay.
but you can ask your question. But
It
I'm
was
going to say ayes have it, motion carries, but I will allow your question
I'm just gonna ask, do we have an idea of when we would have that meeting?
as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yes, we just are getting them today. We'll disseminate the information and we'll have that meeting as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because obviously we have to make a decision very quickly. Our time is running out
Yes.
in May.
Yes.
Did you all want me to open the boxes now or?
Well, I would say your motion has passed, and that is that we are not publicly revealing the rates, but definitely open them. Not yet,
Right.
not at this time. We're taking it all under advisement. Yes, but
No, yeah, and until it came before the board, I couldn't open the boxes to have that additional spreadsheet provided to you all, but
Okay.
at this point now, I can,
okay. All right.
actually open the boxes and finish putting
And
that
then we'll make
spreadsheet
those
together.
public at our next meeting, but we have to have
Yep.
some clarification on, I understand that we are allowed to have some negotiation, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Because these are proposals and not bids.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we'll sort through all those details then and
Okay.
get the board back together as soon as we can. Thank you so much. Alderwoman Smith.
I just want to ask something real quick, and maybe our city attorney know. I know other times when we've done the bids, they're open, like you would go into that room and open them with someone,
Mhm.
so everybody knows what, so it's not, nothing's,
Mhm.
does that make sense?
Oh,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
the way all bids have to
Mr.
be
Johnson,
opened.
is that what
I would-
is
I
that
would
what we do
say-
with most of our?
I would say that in this situation, the city attorney, along with Mr. Johnston, and along with our city clerk, and also I would suggest that Alderman Frazier, being the chair of our utilities committee, that the four of you be present when they're open.
Okay.
So that there can't be anything said that things were not done in an appropriate manner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Frazier, is that good with you?
That's fine.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for the question, because we want to keep things above board. We now then will go to county business, and we're honored to have Daryl Smith here, Adams County Emergency Management. And Mr. Smith, always good to see you. And I know you have a resolution to present to the board at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Board.
Morning.
Thank you for having me come by. I'm here to see if the board and the city will adopt the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency District 7 Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan, which includes Natchez, Adams County, and the surrounding counties in District 7, which is like Lawrence, Withall, Amite, Jefferson, Wilkerson, Lincoln, Franklin, and Pike County. And the plan is adopted, it's for protect the citizens in the county to reduce the risk of hazards. And if it's adopted, it could be public viewing at City Hall and also at Adams County Board of Supervisors. And the plan will be in public viewing at adamscountyms.net. That's all I have.
We need a motion.
All right. I do need a motion.
So moved.
Alderwoman Irving
Second.
has made the motion, and Alderman Maroney has seconded that motion. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Smith, that was easy.
Thank you.
We thank you for keeping us on top of that.
All right.
And
You're welcome.
Mr. Smith, I do know that there have been some negotiations going on between our city clerk and the city attorney and county administrator on the fire agreement and on the 911 agreement. I'm hoping we'll come to some conclusion very soon that will be acceptable to both the county and the city. And I just thought I'd make that statement today while you're here, because people are asking, as the saying goes, inquiring minds want to know. But I want to say this, we want to continue working as a team, and we are glad that 911 is a team effort. We want to keep it that way, and we're also grateful that together we're keeping our citizens safe. And we applaud all of our firefighters and our volunteers on the work they do. They've done a lot lately to fight fires and to keep people safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's all for the safety of the community.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to acknowledge we have a former alderman and county supervisor with us today, and I've got to recognize him, Mr. Ricky Gray. Supervisor, Honorable Ricky Gray, it's good to see you today. Thank you. The department director's reports, Mr. Jody Rutter.
Morning, Mayor and Board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a Board of Examiner member that is resigning. That board member is David Cotton. He's been on the board for 21 years. He's an HVAC contractor. I'm asking for permission to fill this vacancy with Jamie Clements. He's a state licensed HVAC contractor with 28 years of experience. What's your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion? Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
I just want to say, I have no problem with what you're doing, but I know that there's a process out there. Did we give anyone the ability to submit a resume of any kind? Because for each board, that's normally how we do it. So I'm just asking, your recommendation is great. However, we've done it for previous boards. Historical Foundation, Planning Commission, they come and bring it to us so that we will be able to accept resumes, and then we meet and, carry out the process.
This is a licensing board, and
Okay.
whoever needs to go on there has to be a state licensed contractor. So it's
Okay.
not just open to anybody to be a member.
I understand, but there are lots of people with licenses, and I'm just putting it out there, with the process.
I got a question.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
I got a question.
Alderman Frazier. Yes, sir. You're
What
recognized.
she's simply saying, has you reached out to anyone else besides this person?
No, sir. Have not.
Okay, and what she's trying to simply say, and some people might not like this, is there any diversity on this board?
It is, actually,
Okay.
one of
Okay.
our black
That's-
members is the president.
That's all she needs to find.
Call for the question.
Okay, the question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Roder.
The ayes have it. How many years experience again?
28.
28 years, Mr. Jamie Clemens. All right. Thank you. Mr. Justin Dollar, you're next. We're recognizing you.
Morning, Mayor and Board.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Here before you today to seek permission to advertise for two EWP projects that we have. They're currently under design. We expect to finish the design in the next several days to the next week or so. With that being said, these projects do have deadlines and timelines associated with them. So here before you today to seek permission to advertise these projects for bid.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Call for the
Will-
question.
Okay.
I would like to
Questions?
say this is
Yes,
for,
Mr. Dollar.
this is one of the sites is Bob Lee Williams, the other site is Gordon Lane.
Yes, all right. The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Dollar, any update on the other projects, New Beginnings, Old Washington Road, and Vine?
Phillips Road,
And what?
Phillips Lane Road.
That project's not approved, but.
I'm talking about the ones that were awarded the
The
grant
ones that were awarded.
recently.
That's correct, yeah.
Yes.
So we have approved, currently have an approved contract with JKNS to design those projects. Actually spent some time on Friday. We went to all those locations to get the outline of the project so we can begin putting the easements together. I've sent a number of those easement agreements over to the city attorney for review. At that point, then we will begin seeking signatures on those so that we can get those projects moving forward as well.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. I met with Congressman Thompson last week, and I'll give more of this in my report, but I want to just say he was very kind. We met for over an hour, and we discussed that project in particular. And I did bring to his attention that we may end up having to request more funds. But let's hope that everything will come in on budget in that situation. It's just so tough these days when you're dealing with erosion and limited funds.
Right, and that particular EWP award agreement has all three projects listed under it together.
That's right. That's right.
So for the allotted amount of money, so
Yeah.
there's certainly a possibility that there will need to be additional funds.
But I just really want to thank Congressman Thompson for how he's helped us with that. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dollar.
Thank you.
The next item, Ryan Porter, Parks and Recreation. Glad to see you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you,
Morning,
Mr.
Mr.
Porter.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen and
Good
women.
morning.
Bear with me as I stumble through this. We were at the baseball fields till 10 p.m. last night, hosting our first tryout and draft combination. We have our last tonight. So to give a little baseball update, this is our first season with the city having involvement in youth sports and Natchez. Our goals originally were 2 to 3 teams per league. We have far exceeded that goal. We have 311 total registrants.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, that was amazing.
In our 3 and 4-year-old Wii Ball leagues, we have 6 teams, 63 kids. In 5 and 6-year-old T-ball, we have 97 kids, making 8 teams. In 7 and 8U last night, we had 68 kids show up for tryouts and the draft session. That's 6 teams. Word of advice, never put 68 kids in one dugout together at one time and try to make anything happen. For 9 and 10, we have 55 kids for a total of 5 teams. 11 and 12, by that age, we see a lot of kids drop out of baseball and pursue other activities. We only have 15 people registered currently. We have 3 to 4 coaches that are interested. So if we can find 3 to 5 more registrants, we'll at least have 2 teams and either let them play together or join forces with Fidelia and send them over there to play on behalf of Natchez. We have 19 total sponsors for a total of almost $6,000. We do plan to probably double that number by the time the season starts. We have 35 coaches that have stepped up to help out across the board. We're still searching for umpires. We have 4 people committed now, but we need probably another 4 more. If we know anybody with any umpiring or officiating experience, not trying to single anyone out. So we're excited with the direction this is moving. Just wanted to give you an update on that. Now for the nuts and the bolts of why we're actually here.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for that good news
Gosh,
because
that's
it's been.
It's a lot of work.
So sad to see
Trust me.
kids leaving and going
It's-
across the river.
but
You
we're-
have worked so
We're
hard.
putting so much effort into this that to lay the initial foundation that hopefully in years to come, anyone can pick our playbook up and run with it.
Boy, that's just
Starting from
great.
scratch.
We've got to give you another hand. And I hope, if you will, Mr. Porter, make available to me what you just read. We'd like to
Absolutely.
do all we can to get that good news out there. Thank you.
Absolutely. And next on the agenda, staff are requesting a motion to apply for a recreational trails program grant, which is administered through the U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration. It requires an 80-20 federal local match. A little bit about that. If you guys are familiar with our trails at Duncan Park, and the only reason we have the trail system at Duncan Park is because it's the only trail system with the adequate acreage for the type of trails that we're going for. So I just wanted to put that out there. There is an existing trail network at Duncan Park that's been there for over 20, 25 years. It's changed its course over the times, but what we're aiming to do is come in with a professional third-party trail builder and design team to design a modernized trail system that flows and actually looks like a trail. Nothing against previous efforts. There's a term called rake and ride, which is basically where you just rake leaves out of the way and ride a trail, which looks like a nature trail, looks like a deer or a animal trail. We're planning to come in and expand that 20 to 24 inch trail into a 36 to 48 inch trail. Like I said, to where it actually looks like a trail and people are more inclined to use it. We currently have 1.25 to 1.5 miles in the system. We think we can stretch that in the first phase into 1.8, almost 2, and potentially interconnect that with the asphalt trail system that's already there at Duncan Park. The goal is to get up to 4 miles of trail in Duncan Park so that we will be the first to have a NICA compliant trail system. NICA is the National Interscholastic Cycling Association. They're taken off all across the country. To date, I believe we have 98 to 100 riders, grades 6 through 12 in the state of Mississippi, who are always looking for somewhere to race. So currently they're going mostly to Alabama, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. So if we provide that platform, that's up to 100 kids at any given time, plus parents and grandparents that would travel to Natchez. NICA is an important part of this trail concept, but it's secondary to, in my opinion, it would be secondary to trail runners and walkers and nature hikers, if you will. We have a lot of people. I've seen an uptick in trail usage at Duncan Park. You'd be surprised when the weather's nice. You can't fit another family on the asphalt portion of the trail. And this is all ages, all demographics, all groups. So if we interconnect that, then we have a different level of difficulty, for people that want a little more strenuous exercise without getting off tangent too much. Another component of this grant would be for erosion control. If you're familiar with where the trailhead is, it's right at our old swimming facility between there and the VFW. So if you know anything about that section of land, it's all carved into a bluff, low S bluff, over, I believe it's Spanish Bayou or a finger of Spanish Bayou. So there are some significant erosion concerns, and these trail designers and trail builders will help to mitigate that in the future. That being said, to the numbers are real quick. I think I've gone over that slide as well. Yeah, pretty much hit on all that. So this would be a small component to our overall grand plan for trail networks, if you will. It would eventually tie into other systems throughout the city. But to the nuts and bolts, and what we're actually asking for, as I said, this is an 80-20 match. $120,000 is the max, so that's what we're going for. Of that, you can see on the last slide, okay, you got it. Engineering fees, city would be responsible for $1,920. Construction contract, the city would be responsible for $22,080. I will add that since we began our fundraising campaign at 2:00 last Friday, we have been able to receive up to $14,000 in commitments.
Wow.
From last Friday to this morning.
Wow.
I could list it, thanks to the efforts of some of the guys sitting right behind me, but we've come up, like I said, $14,000, and there's no doubt in my mind that we can cover the city's entire cost. Are there any questions about that? Does that?
That we apply for.
Okay.
And this is only contingent upon receiving the grant.
Motion has been made by Alderwoman Smith to apply for the grant, seconded by Alderman Maroney. Discussion. Alderwoman Smith.
Just quickly, this is a great, another element to recreational tourism.
It costs the
There's lots of
city
different
nothing,
kinds of
potentially.
tourism, and this is another element to that, so kudos.
Absolutely.
It's great, fantastic.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Alderwoman Irving.
Thank you. Just to add to what she said, it is great for tourism, but also it's great for our community members here. It could be a health piece, just what this young man presented to us as well. Mental health, physical
It's funny you
health.
mentioned that. I had a parent reach out to me today who had to withdraw their kid from baseball because they fell off their bike and broke their arm. I didn't know how to respond to that, but I was glad to know that kids are on their bikes again.
Yes.
I hate that he's going to miss baseball, but maybe he can
Yeah.
get healed in time for this trail.
Absolutely. So the trails offer a lot of benefits to our
Absolutely.
community.
That's great.
Mr. Mayor,
And yes, Alderwoman Hall.
I would like to commend Mr. Porter for his,
It's a group effort.
I was going to include your group, your staff. It is indeed a staff effort for our recreation department. We're proud of where we are in recreation from where we began. So thank all of you. And also like to thank Mr. Jeff Southall, our consultant, for all of the work that he has also contributed to this and to our baseball.
Thank you. And John Holyoke and Alan Richard. Thank you.
Absolutely with the Natchez Alliance, all of your support for this.
Yes. And Debbie Hudson Germany is handling the grant application and has already, I know, invested time that she actually was not compensated for just to help get this done. We appreciate that. Thank you, Debbie. We'll
And
call.
Natchez Alliance as well for all of your
Yes.
support with this.
So this is a great meeting. I tell you, a lot of great news. I'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
I guess we would need a second motion to provide the required 20% match, which will be obviously less than 20% once our fundraising efforts are complete.
Restate that, please.
Okay.
I'm assuming that we would need to request a second motion to actually provide the required 20% match. That 20% has actually decreased to less than 10% currently. So we're trying to.
So moved.
A motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion. We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
Porter, thank you. Please do get the written details of that to me. We can't wait to share that information. Mr. Johnston, James Johnson, Community Development, you are now recognized. Thank you.
Morning, Mayor Board.
Good morning.
You had a draft of my report placed in your package this past week. There have been a few changes and a couple of typos. Sorry, we had computer issues on Friday. Angeletti House exterior renovation funded by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Staff is requesting a motion to execute a professional services agreement with Waycaster Dungan to provide the required architectural services for this preservation project. The value of this contract is for the budgeted $20,878.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion. We'll call for the question.
Call.
We'll now move to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. That is great. All right, Mr. Johnson, next one.
Staff is requesting a motion to approve the required preservation and maintenance covenant stating that the owner understands that the property will be restored with archives monies, that the owner understands that the property cannot be altered or destroyed or impaired without a permit from Archives and History, and that this is a perpetual preservation easement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall. I'm going to recognize Alderman Davis for that second. We'll have discussion. We'll call for the question.
Yes, Mr.
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
So this is in perpetuity, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I want to make that clear because some agreements are with it for 25 years.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderwoman Irving, yes.
you said the preservation and maintenance covenant stating that the owner understands the property will be restored with, what's that? Who is CH?
Community Heritage Preservation Grant monies,
Okay.
CHPG.
Okay,
We have one right now for the depot as well, and we just finished one for City Hall, the roofing project.
gotcha.
There's
Thank
one
you.
also for Auburn going on.
Thank you. We'll call for the question.
Call.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, Mr. Johnson.
Commerce Street Sidewalk and ADA improvements funded by MDOT. Staff is requesting a motion to approve the construction, engineering, and inspection contract with A&M Engineering and to authorize the mayor to sign the contract.
So moved.
Pleasure.
Second.
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion. We'll call for the question.
Called.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We are finally moving forward with Commerce Street.
As you see, as an FYI, we are planning to advertise that project on Sunday and the following Sunday if staff didn't mess up the legal notice of declaring ledger.
All right, great.
Two-
Next item.
2024 Land and Water Conservation Fund grant application through the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. To continue the renovation of the Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop, staff is suggesting an LWCF application be prepared and submitted for the Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop Phase 2 renovation. Scope of work will consist of the abatement of the failing asbestos coating on the 3 metal building roofs, treatment of areas with heavy rust, and installation of a liquid applied coating on the roof. In addition, gutters and downspouts will be installed on the 3 metal buildings, and underground drainage improvements will be undertaken. Demolishing and installing a new concrete handicap ramp and handrails along the northern end of the building to provide better accessibility of the golf clubhouse. Demolition of the interior of the front portion of the building to the north of the lobby to provide a new golf pro shop, storage, and exterior corridor. This final component will also include replacement of electrical, mechanical, and interior finishes. The total cost of Phase 2 is estimated at $414,583 or $415 rounded. Staff is requesting a motion for the following. Motion to prepare and submit a 2024 LWCF application for the Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop Phase 2.
It's a pleasure of the
So
board.
moved.
Second.
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion. Alderman Davis has seconded that motion. Discussion.
Call the question.
Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Motion,
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
motion to allow the mayor to sign any and all documents with respect to the preparation and submission of this application.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion. Call for the question.
Call.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next item.
Per program requirements, a motion is being requested for the city of Natchez to provide the required 50% plus match for the estimated total cost of Phase 2 renovation, or in this case, $215,000.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Maroney. Discussion.
Yes, has that money
Alderwoman
been
Ray.
identified?
No, ma'am, not at this time. This is the first time I presented to the board, and please make note of my next bullet point. Monies will not be needed until next fiscal year.
So we'll be in a
Based
new
on
budget
the-
year.
Yes, ma'am, based
Okay.
on the anticipated funding announcement in May of 2025, and probably minimal work until after October 1st of 25, which will be FY 26.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item, Mr. Johnson.
Natchez City Auditorium renovation Phase 2 of 4, funded with a 2023 Convention Center bond issue. Staff, in concert with consulting architect Wakehouse and Associates, is requesting a motion to advertise for general contractors for Phase 2 of this work. The scope of work will consist of new public toilets below main house seating, east of the main foyer, new patrons lounge below seating east of main foyer, new green room, which is the lounge, and toilets for performers, new seating, bottom 3 rows in main house, new ceiling for acoustics in main house, sound panels for acoustics in main house, new finishes at main foyer and main house, repair deteriorated drop-offs at west elevation, canopy on west side exterior, clean exterior precast stone. Pleasure of the board.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. So excited to finally be moving forward with renovating our auditorium. Understanding that and people have been asking about these renovations. The convention center, the project has been let, but we can't do it until August because the convention center is so busy. That's the first time it frees up enough for us to get in there. Is there any chance of getting started on this, bidding it today as we're doing bidding over the next week? Any way you think we can get in there before summer?
Possibly.
Good.
Let's see how the bids come in a month or so.
It'd be
And
good
then
to
you'll-
have that one underway, as soon as possible, understanding we can't start the convention center until August.
Right.
All right. Any further discussion? Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion
I
carries.
do want to add funds allocated 1.2 for this phase.
All right.
Renovation of the Yazoo at Mississippi Valley Railroad Depot, also funded by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Due to the condition of the bead board, the stain is not properly adhering and providing the desired result in certain areas, including the doors, door frames, bead board, baseboards, etc. Staff, in concert with our consulting architect, Wakehouse and Associates, is requesting a motion to allow the contractor to stain all interior surfaces using a gel stain like we did on the banister at City Hall at a net additional cost of $805.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Davis,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman Frazier, I'm sorry. Alderwoman
Go ahead.
Smith had her hand up
She go ahead
first,
on. Go ahead.
and then we'll come to you. Alderwoman Smith?
I was just curious, it was the wrong kind.
No, ma'am, it's the condition of the wood.
Okay.
If you recall, and the mayor may better explain it, when we tried to do the staining of the banister here, your liquid stain will not adhere and does not look right. And again, after sanding all that wood, and staining it, it doesn't have the effect that we really want to present.
All right, thank you. Alderman Frazier?
My concern is, every time it's coming up now, these add-ons keep coming up. We did something in front of the buildings at the last board meeting.
pavers.
Stuff.
The pavers.
So why is this not all in the bid? It went all in one bid because every time, like I said, every time we come on, there's add-on for this, add-on for that. And I think that we should have just had one bid where about everything was in there because these add-ons, it just constantly adding on. We're spending more and more money on improvements on this building.
In this case, Alderman Frazier, the staining of the interior wood was included, but because of the condition of the wood after it was sanded by our professionals, it is not providing the desired effect. We can keep it like it is, but that's strictly up to the board.
Yes, I understand that, but like I say, these painters, whatever, they go and look at it and when they gave a bid, they should have known about that.
No, sir, like the same thing when we did the stairwell. You really can't tell until you apply the stain.
Like I said, we get too many add-ons. I think we just spending city money.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier. The question has been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Quote bids were received for 12 wooden blinds and 7 black shades for the southern end of the depot. A summary of the quote bids is as follows. J&J Carpeting submitting for both, and blinds.com quote were obtained. You see the respective bids for these two window treatments. Pleasure of the board, accept or reject the low bid of blinds.com, including installs for $5,532.18.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall. Second. I need a second. Alderwoman Smith has seconded the motion. Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderwoman
I
Irving.
know J&J is located in Vidalia. Where is blinds.com?
It's a
located?
website. It's a website. Trying to save a little money here and there. We do occasionally look online, and we did have our project professional, do a little extra research. So that is a website. Because, we actually purchase from the websites as well through the clerk's office. But that is blinds.com. It is a website.
Would it be possible, I don't know, but I'm just going to ask, to ask J&J if they can meet that
I'll ask.
online price?
I'll ask, yeah.
Well, that's where I was going.
Okay, Alderwoman
Because
Irving.
you do want to spend money
Yes.
locally to our businesses
agree, and
here.
that's why we
I
always
agree.
try and do local. But I have to get clarification. If they decline, do we accept bids.com? Fair
All
enough.
right. If I could, Alderwoman Hall, if you'll amend your motion, allowing J&J to be offered to match that low price.
And in the event they don't, we accept blinds.com.
Yes.
That's my motion.
All right,
Fair enough.
Alderwoman Smith, is that your second? Okay, that is the motion then. Do we have further discussion? The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
And finally, same project, in addition, staff in concert with our consulting architect is requesting a motion to receive quote bids to repair the cargo door on the northeast side of the building and to build a new cargo door on the northwest side of the building. And both of these items are going before preservation tomorrow night.
What is the pleasure of the board?
This is an add-on.
Please.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded.
Yes, sir. They also need to go before.
I need a second.
And that's been submitted
We have
too.
a second, sir.
Seconded by Alderman Maroney. Discussion.
Yes.
Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, they also need to go before Archives and History.
It has been sent as well. Hopefully they'll both be reviewed this month, but we won't receive until, we get our approvals from both bodies.
Thank you.
All right. We'll call for the question.
Called.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. In interest of her time, just in case there's some questions, before we go to the city officials' reports, we circulated this yesterday. Debbie Hudson has been performing a lot of grant work for the city and has not actually been charging for a lot of the work she's done since the last amount that we approved for her was exhausted, a while back. I have extra copies of the letter. And so she is working on several projects at the moment, helping our U.S. Colored Troops project, police, fire, public safety, healthcare, as we just saw, recreation. And she's really performing a great service. We can't expect her to do this for free. She has offered generously to continue performing these services at a $2,500 a month cap. At the end of 3 months, we can revisit the work that she's doing to see if we want to continue. We have historic record amounts available. As you can see, Mr. Johnston is overwhelmed. I don't know how he's doing it all, but he is the best multitasker I think I know. Other than myself, when, like last night, I was able to grill chicken, hamburgers, and steaks all at the same time. But outside of that excellent multitasking I was able to perform last night, Mr. Johnson is the best multitasker I know. I hope y'all found that funny. And so, so anyway, Miss Debbie Hudson is a jewel to this community, and I would like to entertain a motion for us to continue this relationship under the terms that have just been described. And I would say that we would treat March as an entire month and not 3 months, because I know you've been working. And so I'll entertain that motion. Alderman Hall has made the motion. Alderman Maroney, I heard two. Alderman Maroney has seconded the motion. Any discussion?
I was just gonna
Yes,
ask,
Alderwoman Irving.
that for a copy of that, Mayor.
Yes.
And the only other thing I was
Certainly.
just gonna say, because we've identified the funding where it's come from, we paid before, so this would be
Yes.
just an addition.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman
I'd
Hall.
like to thank Ms. Hudson, Germany, for all the work she has contributed to our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
She told me.
and if you didn't see the article last week, she is spending a lot of time on her own dime, really, for the county and securing a location being donated for a municipal and county justice complex. And I believe you're working with an advisory committee of city and county on that. And that's just really commendable. Thank you so much.
I just want to give a
Yeah,
ovation because
totally agree.
meeting the needs of our community.
Folks, we're getting a bargain here, but don't let her know I said that.
Call the question.
The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. And Ms. Hudson, Germany, you're welcome to remain, but I did know that your time is valuable, and we want to go ahead and get that taken care of. Thank you. City officials reports, Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The mayor and I met recently with residents of West Steers Lane and to give them an update on the curb and drainage that's going to begin there pretty soon. We met at Mount Nebo Baptist Church with Reverend Hunt and some of the residents in that area who are concerned about that. And Mr. Kaiser was also there. He's been working on that project with JKS. We also told them that bids would be received on the 21st for that project. So we're glad that this is moving forward, a much needed project for that area that has been long time neglected. Also, I'm meeting this week with representatives of Cockerham for an update on a project I'm working on with our local judiciary, school board, Ms. McDonald Green, and the Board of Trustees for the school board, our state judiciary, and our state legislature on the project for our students. So I look forward to an update on that project. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Hall. I think you could have gone on for quite a while. We've been seeing a lot of you. I applaud you on your hard work. Thank you. Alderman Frazier?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I brought this up, the last board meeting, seemed as though no one is taking heed. I'm still getting complaints from, one of the managers, Ms. Woods at Walmart, about the homeless people in the woods that's camping on city property. Like I say, they've been complaining about these people harassing the customer, going into the bathroom, using the bathroom, taking baths and everything. Also, I noticed that some of, and I'm not against homeless people because it could happen to anybody could fall into. Also, I noticed that some of the citizens are constantly bringing them food on the Sundays and stuff. And this is like, say, I'm not against that, but we do have other people, the shoppers that's coming from, that stay out of town and people that stay here who are afraid of these people because like the way their actions and the way they're doing things. And I noticed the other day that they're even moving out of 61 North, people standing on the intersection out there about Morgantown. They got signs out begging for food. And the manager stated to me at Walmart that she had got in touch with the police department and she stated that, they told her that wasn't anything they can do. But I totally disagree with that. I think that is something that we can do because like I say, this is something that affects everyone in the community and some kind of action need to be taken. So if, we need to look at that, Mr. Mayor. If not, we're gonna get reports of somebody getting mugged or
Yes.
somebody gonna get in a hurry. And also the trash is becoming, is getting out of hand. Right there at the flyover, one of the homeless people got trash all over the road over there. Not only the flyover back down back down Pilgrim Boulevard on the left-hand side by Dollar General, they got trash out there. People got baskets and everything. So that is something that needs to be addressed by the city of Natchez and law enforcement. And also, I talked to the lady. She said the sheriff department said there wasn't anything they couldn't do, but it should be addressed because, like, that's gonna be an issue that's gonna hurt the city of Natchez. Also, that's an issue that is happening all over the country, not just Natchez, but that's everywhere, homelessness. So, if Mr. Mayor, we can do something. If we need to take some kind of actions on that. Also, I want to state, Mr. Mayor, you be too busy talking all the time. I also was at Starbright. I was over there with these kids who have special need kids, and I wish that everyone could have been there just to see these kids. They are kids. Some are smaller kids, and some of them are adults. They just to see their face, and I want to also give a shout out to the chaperone. These young ladies who chaperone these kids, they was just like they didn't even know these kids. They was hugging each other and just everything. And like I say, the mayor, he was introducing me and Buzz Craft and all this. This is a combined effort from both sides of the bridge, from Mississippi, Louisiana. There was a combined effort. And I wish you could see they was dressed in tuxedos, long dresses, and these kids was really, as a matter of fact, some of them outdanced me. They was dancing all over the place, and it was just, and I seen one guy, he was on stage, he started doing the moonwalk out like Michael Jackson. And I'm like, oh, these kids, and like I say, it was beautiful. And I wish, like I say, and it wasn't a small group of people. It was a whole bunch of people there. And like I say, if you'd have seen it, it did your heart good.
Yeah.
Just to look at these kids who are mentally challenged. Matter of fact, my grandson was there. He was waving like he was the president. And he was getting everybody, come on, take a picture and everybody. So you really would enjoy. We need more participation for these kids. Like I say, you'll be surprised. These kids are smart in their own way. They are very, very intelligent, but it just takes something to bring it out of them. And like I say, this ball and everything, it brought out a lot of these kids. And like I say, just to see them, to be there. And each year, from my understanding, because it was my first time, each year, from my understanding, it getting bigger and bigger. And this, as I say, this is something that affects everyone. I don't care what your ethnicity is, what color you are, whatever, it affects us. So, man, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. And Alderman Frazier, I'm so glad you mentioned that, and thank you. Yeah, I told someone if that event didn't light your fire, then your wood's not only wet, it has floated down the river all the way to St. Francisville. Alderman Frazier, I have just texted my assistant to get us a meeting to meet with the chief and police on that homeless situation. And you will be informed, okay?
Thanks.
All right. Thank you for bringing that again to our attention. Alderwoman Smith.
Briefly, I just want to thank as an alderman and a Rotarian, the convention center did a great job with the president-elect training. It's multi-district. They were in town last weekend, and they did a great job. And they come here every year, so and that's why, because they feel like they're treated well, and they do a great job at the convention center. So thank you for that. And just quickly, I'm not going to try to raise a debate on this, but I want it confirmed by our city clerk. Special call meetings require a vote on anyone that is not on the agenda because there is a 3-hour or more window in that. And that's so nothing is a surprise to the alderman. For a regular meeting, if the topic is on there, it does not require a vote for that. But I'm not trying to debate it right now, but we've been doing that way since I've been an alderman and long before me. So let's check on that, or if you can confirm that right now, if I'm correct.
I can try to find it.
Okay,
Just
well, don't do it
confirm,
now.
I believe you are correct.
No, just until let us know next meeting, but it just takes
Okay.
extra time to vote on something. Then 2 people come to present something on a subject that's on here. You don't need to vote on each one of them to talk.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Thank you. All right. We now go to you, Alderwoman Irving, for your report.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to begin with inquiring about a citywide cleanup. We normally would meet with a small board. I know we have hired a representative to assist with that, but I wanted to see, wanted to ask, inquiring whether or not we are in the midst of planning a citywide spring cleanup.
I believe one is coming, and we will see. As you know, we did have one last year, and we had 0 participation, sadly, as much effort as we put into it. So we're wanting them, the director and then the others who are helping, the volunteers, to come to us with their plan soon, and we'll look into it. We're supposed to meet with her, I think, within the next week.
Okay.
All right?
Could I be I want to remain on there because we actually had a small committee. It was myself, Alderwoman Smith, and Alderman Frazier were a part of that small committee.
Well,
That would be-
we'll certainly look into that. Right now, we just need to meet with the director and get some details on how that's being handled
Okay.
before we
One
go
other-
any other step.
Regarding that,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Alderwoman.
regarding the community cleanup. One of the things that would contribute to it being successful is having those roll-off dumpsters, Mayor. That was what they were not placed in different sectors of the community. And so that is much needed. That's why we see a lot of the appliances, sofas, and those kinds of things that are out in different areas because everybody needs to clean out at some point.
Yes.
And that type of service should be
We do want
provided.
to thank Waste Management for providing a roll-off dumpster for that event last year. We also did advertise it, and we paid an individual to be there, paid several actually at Public Works to be there on a Saturday, and only one person came by. So obviously there is some better communication and understanding that there is needed.
Yes.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Okay, with the cleanup. And then I also wanted to share that I have identified 3 illegal dump sites. I want to meet with Mr. Johnston. And Mr. Johnson, I do have those, the address that they're in close proximity, number 3 Tema Street. Number 3 Tema, Temah, Tema Street. Lynn's Alley off Brenham Avenue is at the very end. And there's one on Brenham Avenue across from 50 Brenham Avenue. If we need to ride by, if all possible today, if you have time, we can do so. As I was canvassing throughout our community, I was on Pernell Street, and we often refer to it as Pernell Hill, but there were concerns about the LED lights. And I know they were done in phases, Mayor. And so inquiring at 9 Pernell Street, the LED light has not been placed there yet. 31 Pernell Street, so it's 2 on that street. And the concerns that the community members are bringing out as they see them on Oak Street or East Oak Street, they are seeing that it's well lit. The light illuminates out and they feel a lot comfortable, safer coming out of their homes. And so also inquiring about one being at the end of Pernell Street, down near where the former Public Works Department was in that area. Also, a crosswalk. After we repaved East Franklin, right at the intersection near Junkin Street and East Franklin Street, several other community members, and then in particularly those that have problems with transitioning, getting from that corner across the street, there is a push button there to control the flow of the traffic, but a crosswalk is what
Yes.
they're saying is needed in that area. So that's something we can look into. I want to mention that too while Mr. Dollar was here, but he ended up leaving. I didn't know at that time, but that is something that is being discussed heavily within Neighborhood Watch and Community Meeting, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Also, the striping of the street. It delights my heart to see that that is taking place. Mr. William Blow, he was one of our members over from the Concord area. He passed maybe over a year ago now. However, in our Neighborhood Watch and other neighborhoods watch, that was something he pointed out about 3 weeks before his passing. We would love to see the striping of the street because it brings a lot of safety features with having that. And so to see that we are doing it now, and it looks good. It really looks good for the street. However, it provides that extra piece of safety as we're traveling on our roads as well. So thank you for doing that, Public Works, and our, was it Viking who's doing our street, the striping and all?
AJ, and
Okay.
then the paint company.
Okay, so we really want to thank them for that. That helps out a great deal. And Mr. Mayor, that ends my report. Also, let me just say this for the record. I did speak to Mr. Dollar concerning it. I was on DeSoto Street, and around that water main, that street is caving in. So hopefully I spoke with him this morning. So hopefully he went out to make observations and see what's going on with it.
It's a caving.
Yes, it's caving.
What is it exactly?
Water main.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in Middle Street, and all around it is caving in. So hopefully nothing is.
And that's at what street?
DeSoto,
Okay.
DESOTO. It's right off Cato, right off East Franklin.
Okay. All right.
And that ends my report.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I will say that we did make those requests. You know, Purnell Street was brought up last meeting about lights. I'll look into that. Thank you.
Mhm.
We'll get with Entergy.
It
to
was
see.
the backlight, but not that these two
We'll-
hadn't been
we'll
transferred over to
clarify with
LEDs.
them. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Alderman Davis?
Oh, I've been getting a lot of good compliments about the street pavement in my ward. People say that streets look good. It's been a long time. It was due. And also, I attended the practice for the baseball for the kids yesterday. My grandson played, and it was a lot of kids. I don't know how they handle that. And Mr. Porter, I think I might know a few people on the umpires. I'm gonna ask them because they be traveling and doing it other places and stuff. I'm gonna check with them to see if they want to do it. But that ends my report.
All right. I don't know if Mr. Porter heard what you just said. He took the bait. He heard. Yeah. That person you weren't calling out, anybody? Yeah. Alderman Davis. Alderman Davis, thank you so much.
All right.
Alderman Maroney.
I'm suffering a little laryngitis, so no report.
Yeah, you sprayed it.
We talked a little about that this morning. I don't want to jinx myself, but whenever I get it, it's really quiet at my house, the office too.
Mr. Mayor,
Nobody complains.
I just want to add one thing. I was invited to meet with the Kiwanis last week, and I did give an update on city projects and where we are
Oh,
up
good.
to date with the city.
Okay, great. All right, thank you so much. We'll now go to the city clerk's report.
Okay. My first request is request for approval of the 1st March 2024 claims docket.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderwoman
Yes.
Irving.
Go ahead, Judy. Okay. Just asking a question. We're on page 11 in our claims docket, and that's going to be account number 001 094690. Is that our web design for our city page or?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Page 52. And this was a little confusing to me. And it's going to be account number 126342600. And so you read there, it said reimbursement for payment to.
And I don't want to missay the last name of
Okay.
that individual because it is cut off. There
Right.
wasn't enough space to fit all of it there.
So is
But
this saying that our golf management paid it in?
That's correct. And then submitted the receipts for payment to the city for reimbursement because it is something that should have been paid through the city.
Right.
And for whatever reason, it was paid through him and then reimbursed.
Okay, so we have all our documentation.
Yes, we do have all of the documentation in the file.
All right. And that is, well, let's see. That ends my report.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
We'll call for the question.
Paul.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item is request for approval of the first March 2024 mini claims docket.
It's a pleasure of the board.
So move.
Alderman Davis has
Second.
made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion. We'll call for the question.
Paul.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Okay, next item is request for approval of the interfund loans.
Pleasure of the board.
So move.
Motion made by Alderman Davis,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion.
Yes, there was one, I didn't know if it was an error or not on the loan, and it's the one for 3/5/24. Is that $10?
It is
or-
$10. There were some service charges that were charged. We made the transfer to cover so that we would not be in overdraft. I did contact the bank and the service charges were reversed.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item is, request for approval of, and that should be interfund transfers, not loan repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion.
Call the question.
Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request for approval of the payroll transfers.
Pleasure of the board.
So move.
Motion made by Alderman Davis,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion. We'll call for the question.
Paul.
Proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request for approval of the February 2024 personnel report.
What's the pleasure of the
So
board?
moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Hall, seconded by Alderman Smith. Discussion.
Yes,
Alderman Frazier, yes.
I got one question. Employee 33, employee 30, 32, 31. I'm trying to figure out, is that,
He goes by middle name.
oh, get me straight now, because I was gonna say, what? I'm trying to figure this out now.
I'm sorry.
What's
That
going
employee
on
goes
here?
by middle name. So the title and position is correct. The last name is correct. But yes, you will notice a discrepancy in the first name.
That's the gentleman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm don't throw that cloud on me now. Okay, I was just trying to figure it out.
Call the question.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier. The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request for approval for myself, Ms. Denise Bell, and Ms. Rebecca Turner to travel to the MML Annual Conference in Biloxi, June 23rd through the 27th, where we thought that only Ms. Bell and myself would be graduating, but it looks as though Ms. Turner will meet the deadline to graduate with us this year.
Awesome.
Great.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving and seconded by Alderman Davis. There were so many talking at one time. That is great news.
That is.
We'll call for the question.
Call.
proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Also have a request for approval for the mayor to travel to the MAPDD conference in Biloxi, April 23rd through the 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. This will be the third one, or possibly, I think the third one I've attended. We've gotten grant opportunities, ideas out of every one. I think it's very worthwhile. Thank you. We'll call the question. We'll proceed now to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
And I also have one quick add-on. During the meeting, we finally got some more information that made it possible to bring this request before the board. It is concerning the depot. There was a water seepage issue at the old coal chute on the northwest side of the building. And we had Public Works go out with an excavator, kind of dig and look, apparently. And Mr. Johnston can kind of help with further details on this. The old coal chute was filled with concrete some years back. And while being there working, there was, notice that after a hard rain, the floors were wet. So we kind of started looking into seeing where the water was coming from. And it is coming from that old coal chute where it was not properly sealed. So we have reached out, we have spoken with the contractor who is there currently working on the building. This was not in the scope of work. This is something that was discovered, while working. The cost will be $4,600, but they can take care of this issue and stop any further water from getting into the building. So looking for.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith.
Second.
Alderwoman Hall has seconded the motion. We have no choice. We have to take care of it. We'll call for the question.
Call.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Attorney, we have this under your report. I'd like to provide a little background because this is something that we just added yesterday. Has everyone received the agreement draft with
Yes.
Stantec? It was delivered yesterday, but I
Yes.
have extra copies.
Pass
Okay.
on over, because I didn't. You said delivered yesterday?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, I didn't get one.
Okay.
It was delivered
I'm
by
sorry.
officer.
It was also emailed,
And email.
but here, we have this. The situation is this, we've been back and forth with the state aid engineer, Harry Lee James, with Stantec Corporation. They are the company that has the contract for inspecting state aid, projects, bridges, currently for the state of Mississippi. All of this is under federal guidelines. And at a prior meeting, we did look to Volkert and got your approval to look to Volkert for a quote unquote second opinion. Basically, we did not act on that because they were going to charge really more, I think, than Stantec was charging, and basically telling us similar things. And in all of these discussions, what we have ascertained is that Stantec is willing to work with us on a repair option that will keep the bridge open. We're hopeful. We aren't sure just how much tonnage the bridge will support after these repairs are made, the emergency repairs. They should be completed in, I would say, 3 months to 4. And at that time, new stress tests will be conducted and we'll be able to see for sure. But it has become apparent that the bridge is now over 60 years old. The bridge is going to need replacement. That replacement could possibly take 2 to 3 years, could cost as much as $6 million. We have been working to identify funds for the replacement. But in the meantime, the bridge is being inspected now on a month-to-month basis. We can't take any risk of the bridge being closed. And once it's closed, following federal guidelines, it could remain closed until a new bridge was completed to replace it.
Mhm.
We couldn't have that Canal Street Bridge closed for 2 years or 3 and impose that upon our people. Now, there is a chance that after the repairs are completed, it will still have a lower rating than what was used to. However, it is expected the rating will be much better than 5 tons. Because of the costs involved in repair and replacement, we have received favorable input from our legislators, both House and Senate, and from state leaders that we may be able to see state help in the $600,000 price range to repair. We are also looking at long-term strategies for the $6 million replacement. And all that said, we need a motion today because time is of essence, and I need to give an answer to the state aid engineer today that we have taken action on this. And the contract will be with Stantec Corporation for repairs to the Canal Street Natchez Railroad Bridge, pending final approval of the city attorney. Mr. Lazarus is already communicating with Stantec, their attorneys, and this will get that ball rolling. So I need that motion.
So moved.
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Davis. Thank you. I do want to share this also. It was very interesting that last week I was able to meet in Washington Vice President with Stantec and understand more about how they operate under this federal guidelines and state aid contract. But also in that meeting, I was able to meet a longtime mayor of St. Cloud, Minnesota, who sadly in 2007 was mayor when a bridge there connecting one side of the Mississippi to the other was abruptly closed and remained closed for 2 years. And it crippled the economy there.
Yeah.
And it took, even with the U.S. Senator's help in that situation, it took 2 years to get a new bridge constructed. He told me last week, he said, if you have federal inspectors willing to work with you on a strategy of keeping that bridge open now while they make repairs, jump on that. Don't let it come out of the blue like it almost did at Christmas that they were closing the bridge. We were so thankful they worked with us at Christmas to keep the bridge open, albeit to a lower rating, 5 tons, rather than the higher rating. But we have a firm now ready to work with us, ready to move forward. The motion's been made. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to say that federal law will supersede state law any day. And it's important that we work with this company. They're willing to work with us. So we need to work with them according to federal guidelines.
We can also certainly say that we have kicked the tires on this one, and we have met with everybody imaginable to try to figure this out. We continue to be grateful to Harry Lee James at State Aid and also Brian Johnson with Stantec Corporation.
I got a question.
We're also thankful to MDOT and also thankful to Volker. Yes, Alderman Frazier.
Oh, I was trying to figure out how much it's gonna cost us in dollars.
600,000. Yeah.
600,000?
600,000. And we're working on those strategies simultaneous to working with them on the repair. All right, the question's been called. Mr. Lazarus, I didn't even allow you any time.
That's okay.
Was there anything for you to say?
You covered it. No.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I'm bad about that. Alderman Frazier will be the first to tell you.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Alderman Davis, you don't have to laugh that loud. But we all know it's true. We now will move to my report. I'm excited about this one. We finally get to contract with the Natchez Adams County Humane Society for that long-awaited renovation to a building on their property to help us through our animal control to provide care for animals. This will not be an adoption facility. The adoption remains at the Humane Society, but this will be a facility that we will equip, and it will be for the care of animals that we have to pick up. And we're working in partnership with Hoofbeats Paw Prints to then transport those animals, and it's a real win-win. We are spending these monies out of our community development fund that was budgeted in this budget year. We're looking at $50,000 as that amount. Alderman Frazier, I have been warned by the architect that there are a few things here. We'll see. Let's hope the proposals come in correctly. It's frustrating to understand inflation in today's world. Hopefully prices are coming down. I just have to make that statement.
Move forward with this, Mr. Mayor.
All right, the motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion,
Call the question.
Alderman
Oh,
Frazier.
sorry, go ahead.
Alderman Frazier.
This, we are spending $25,000, correct?
50,000.
50,000
Yes, sir.
on the building,
Yes.
on the renovation of the building.
Yes.
That's not a city-owned building, right?
It's being done under a lease arrangement, and we're doing this in lieu of paying them a lease amount. Mr. Lazarus, if you want to, you're the attorney, explain that a little further.
The city is leasing the building from Natchez Adams Humane Society. The plan is to put the $50,000 in renovation and remodeling of the building. And any costs incurred by the city will be reimbursed by the Natchez Adams Humane Society upon conclusion of the lease. Charlie Speed is the person with whom we've been negotiating the lease with. And this, as the mayor said, is not a public pet adoption. It's for our animal control people to bring the animals to this building to be held there.
I do need to clarify, the lease, the improvements are being prorated over the term of the lease, which is 5 years. If they should, and they, at the end of 5 years, they won't actually pay us. We are paying this money. But where Mr. Lazarus indicated, what kicks in is if they should end the lease prematurely, then they have to pay the city back for whatever remaining prorated balance remains on those improvements.
I stand corrected. Yes, that's correct.
You just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
All right, Alderman Frazier.
We're spending the money to renovate the building. Now, and this might sound frivolous, this might sound kind of off the beaten path, but are the county gonna use the same facility?
No, sir. It will only be used by the city.
Just city, okay, so they can't bring anything from the county?
City taxpayer dollars are at stake here, so we can only provide that service to the city.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Good clarification. Alderwoman Hall.
I'd just like to reiterate, we've had this discussion last year during our budget hearings, that we are using the funds according to the Attorney General guidelines based on his service contract.
Yes.
And this is why we can use these funds for that.
Thank you so much. We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. My next item, thank you. My next item, we've already taken care of the issue with Ms. Hudson Germany. The next item, we have been presented a proposal. This was made available to all of you, and this is regarding a company that has been recommended by our insurance agent, the Byrne Insurance Agency. We have companies all across this country that are starting to decline to cover or write municipal insurance coverage. This resulted, in spite of our good loss ratio, this resulted in a limited selection of companies to quote our insurance and a significant increase in our insurance premiums this year. As a result, it has been recommended that we have an exhaustive study done of our insurance program, of all of our assets that are being insured and how we're going about insuring them, co-insurance, any kind of deductibles, anything we're insuring that possibly we should not insure because it may be more cost effective just to remove that item and self-insure it. For instance, something that is of a certain age or something that has just reached that point where it makes no sense to insure it. This is way beyond what an insurance agent does. This is a commercial company that does this. They perform these services all over the country. These are for services. Everything here will tell you who the team is, all their approach. This has been made available to you about 2 weeks ago, I believe. But I didn't want to bring it up at that meeting because we needed time to discuss it. The price in the proposal is basically $5,900 basic plus some additional items per building, and I think we'll probably see more around the $7,000 expense. My experience, in my years as an insurance consultant, the savings will likely more than pay for this service. I don't think Mr. Byrne would be recommending it if he didn't think it would. So I would entertain a motion for us to be able to contract for services with CBIZ Valuation Group to perform this evaluation.
Second.
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion. Alderman Davis has seconded the motion. Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm just asking, you said our assets. Have we completed our inventories of every department?
That has been ongoing, but I'll ask the city clerk to answer.
And my reason for asking, because if you said we're securing all of our assets, it has to be from every department, police, fire. So we've completed those.
We basically take the schedule of insurance and compare it to what we actually have. Madam Clerk, can you speak to inventory?
So it is for the most part done. There are probably, still a few updates that could be made. We've had some surplus items recently that will come off and that sort of thing. But yes, we have made huge strides with that.
From all departments?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
All
I was
right.
just asking because,
That's a good question. It is. When I was an insurance consultant, the first thing I had to do every year was get the inventory sheet for Hines County, and it was that much.
Yes.
And it's a big job. It is. Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have any further discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. I do want to give you some very good news regarding the Washington, D.C. update. I think we might have some pictures. We're going to just start with a fun picture. This is someone who I have been so blessed to get to know, Dr. Frank Smith, former D.C. councilman, who is actually the founder of the United States African American Civil War Museum and the United States U.S. Colored Troops Monument. We were able to meet there at Ben's Chili Bowl right down from the museum. We sat at the table that is called the President's Table, where President Obama used to enjoy the great food. But we're going to go on through. I just have to tell you the picture. That is a great, one of my favorite events. But this is the U.S. Colored Troops Monument, and it has just been designated by the Guinness Book of World Records as a monument having the most names listed of any monument in the world. And I don't have the amount of names. It's several 100,000 names on that monument. And I don't have it in front of me. Next slide. though, is the designation that they just received. Dr. Smith is hoping to move toward a completion of a major renovation of the museum by this fall and is hoping that Natchez will be represented. We are so grateful that the partnership that they have formed with us with our U.S. Colored Troops Monument. We're going to share some more good news in just a minute. Next slide. Just keep going. I just love to throw beautiful pictures. Senator Wicker, we had a great meeting. He is always a friend to us, a friend to Natchez. Next slide. Congressman Thompson, I want to go back to Congressman Thompson. We spent over an hour meeting. And I want to just say, Congressman Thompson gives me more time than anyone has ever given me in these meetings in Washington. And he has been so supportive. And I want to use this slide to make three really great announcements because they were initiated in his office. We have been awarded an earmark of $1 million, close to it, for a new fire truck for our airport. We have also been awarded funds for our Forks to Freedom project. This is the U.S. Colored Troops Monument site on the north end of the bluff, and also Hiram Revels Plaza, the development of both of those sites. Enough money to do the landscaping and infrastructure, not counting the actual monument cost, and also money that is important for important drainage projects in the rolling. Let me make sure that I'm getting this correct. I've got the information in the Rolling Wood Drive area and also Glenwood Drive area. As you know, we are working with state legislators on projects in Concord and Steers Lane. We are working
West
federal,
Steers Lane.
West Steers Lane. We are working with federal on these others. I want to just say, and let's continue. Just continue. Cindy Hyde Smith, spent great time with her last week. And then another, Michael Guest. You may wonder why our former congressman is on this picture. So let me just say, Congressman Thompson has entered these requests for us. But in addition, there's been a bipartisan effort. Cindy Hyde Smith has entered these earmarks. Senator Wicker has entered these earmarks. And Michael Guest, even though he's not our congressman anymore, he is on the Appropriations Committee. And he worked for a year to make sure that the Republican majority on that committee did not strike any of our projects, especially our project to honor our U.S. Colored Troops and Hiram Revels from that final bill. That final bill was then appropriately voted on last week by both the House and Senate and signed into law on Friday evening. A bipartisan effort, that's the way it works. But I do want to say this. I've already asked Congressman Thompson to be our speaker at the groundbreaking for both the Hiram Revels Plaza project and the U.S. Colored Troops Monument Site project, which we hope we can simultaneously coordinate and have them occur on the same day, because Hiram Revels was a chaplain in the U.S. Colored Troops. It's a great connect. Let's keep going. Of course, Greg Harper works tirelessly to help us. And he was really great in our meetings, obviously with the senators and with Congressman Guest. But I will say Congressman Thompson has been available to me just one-on-one. And I cannot say enough for his kindness in working with us without a lobbyist involved. And we're very grateful for that. Let's continue on. Now, the Mississippi River Cities Towns Initiative meeting, we can continue, but that's George Flaggs from Vicksburg, who is co-chair of the MRCTI. Over 100 cities, every city from Gretna to the south, to Bemidji, Minnesota, to the north. 10 states represented. We can keep going on these slides. We had Frank Clips, American Cruise Lines there. Next slide. Cody Sellers, Viking there. We had so many others, but there's my brother, Mayor Buzz Craft. We'll keep going. And this is a vice president with Stantec. It was just ironic that he was there. We could talk about Canal Street. Buzzcraft represents us so well. Keep going. And then this is where we made the announcement that I want to make right now. Natchez has been chosen to host the 2026 conference for the MRCTI in September of that year. This is a great honor with over 100 cities involved. It is a real honor for them to bring this very important meeting to Natchez. 2026 marks our 250th celebration of independence as a country. This is going to be a patriotic celebration, but it's going to be a celebration, as I shared at the meeting Friday, a celebration not just of our country's independence and how far we've all come, but also a serious discussion of what we're doing in Natchez to address our past, our present, look forward to our future by telling our whole story, no longer being the city where the old South still lives, but rather a city for the future where we are embracing not just one segment of our history, but all of it, telling also our African-American history. And the fact that we celebrate here is that Natchez and this country very possibly would not exist had it not been for the toil of those slaves, ancestors of our African-American citizens all across this country. In visiting our nation's capital, do you realize that I don't know that our capital, our White House, our major buildings in D.C. would even exist had it not been for the foundations made by slaves.
Absolutely.
That was well received at the meeting to the point that there was an individual, a mayor from Minnesota that I had never met, who was an African-American gentleman who came up to me after the presentation. And he said, I want you to know that my grandparents and parents, both from Mississippi, they moved during the atrocities of the civil rights movement. And I've never been to Mississippi. They never went back. He said, but after hearing your presentation and all the great things that Natchez is doing to work together, I can promise you I will be there in 2026 to visit your city. I celebrated the fact that this is the future not only of Natchez, but our state and our country, to move past all of those divisions that have held us back and to move forward together. I'm so grateful for what's happening in Natchez. It's special. And I'm so grateful that others around the country are now coming to recognize it. This is an individual that I just wanted to let y'all know. Mr. Wilkes, he is actually from Port Gibson, and he is known to many people here. I met him for the first time. He is actually Homer Wilkes, PhD, Dr. Wilkes, Undersecretary for Natural Resources and Environment at the USDA. We had a great meeting. He was one of our presenters. And during this conference, we talked about erosion. We talked about the river. We talked about the fact that it is filling up with silt. And they are not dredging it like they used to. And more needs to be done. This is Dante Bidwell. He is the administrative assistant to the mayor of Baton Rouge, who is not able to be there, but that's us in the old executive office building at the White House. And of course, Buzzcraft during our visit there at the White House. Buzzcraft, Vidalia, will be helping us host this conference, and there will be an event on the Vidalia side. I think y'all may find this humorous. And Dustin Hinkle, it's good to see you. We miss you. It's great to see you out there. But I did say to the group that I really want to go across to Vidalia, especially might want to see their convention center, that my favorite thing about Vidalia is the beautiful view it has of Natchez. Everybody laughed, including Mayor Kraft. But anyway, the Washington trip was an enormous success. And I want to say, not only now do we have over $3 million in federal money coming to Natchez for these important projects, but I also want to thank the county for the work that they have done. They were in Washington lobbying just 3 weeks before I was. And the request for that fire truck began with Warren Gaines over a year ago during a Capitol visit. And I also want to say that we have now laid the groundwork for our Forks of Freedom Raise Grant project. We have laid the groundwork for a grant for a coding academy in Natchez. And we have also laid the groundwork, and this no pun intended, but the groundwork for us to have another 1.4 million in money to address the decaying bridge. Actually, it's a culvert, brick line culvert at State and Fine Avenue. If you'll recall, that is on
Well,
our
thank you.
drainage study.
Yes, yes.
And we discussed that, and Congressman Thompson is putting that earmark request
Thank you.
in for us.
Right.
And we hope then next year, more money.
That's awesome.
There are so many other things I could tell you, but I don't have time, and I'm already probably being, I'll have the plug pulled on me in just a minute by one of these aldermen. That is the end of my report.
Right.
Do we have, you can clap. That was a good report. I want to say it's been a good meeting, because do you realize we have talked about millions upon millions of dollars in projects and improvements for Natchez today without one dime of tax increase? It just shows what God is doing. And we also celebrate that while in Washington, favorable news, work for Natchez Grand Village, work for the Jefferson College project, and this is Department of Archives and Culture, our Natchez National Historic Park. Just so many great things happening. We don't have a final report on Silver Street. I do need to say this. Be expecting a special call meeting to approve bidding Silver Street soon, we hope. Just a few more things that have to be ironed out. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Any discussion? Call for the question.
Call.
Proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.